That happened to me with the jacuzzi suit too. I thought I invented that, and that was a real thing. It's like just a suit that you wear. That's a jacuzzi.
That's a jacuzzi. That is a great idea.
I looked it up. It was on The Simpsons, which is probably where I stole it from, and it's like a legitimate product.
Yeah. That's a big fear of mine with writing stand-up jokes. I'm like,
well, how do you know? There's no
don't really
database.
You don't really know, and there's been some famous cases of
Just parallel thinking.
Yeah, well, there's also been some famous cases of comics right now who are in their 30s, 20s, and 30s doing jokes on their specials.
Oh, wow.
That comics...
It's like Richard Pryor.
That comics did in the 90s and 80s. And people are just like, they obviously heard this as a kid, and then grew up and rewrote it. So because there's just enough data out there.
Do you think it's active, though? Like an active process in their brain? Or it literally is a
honest
seed
to
planted?
God, in some of the cases I've heard, I'm like, that person probably does not steal jokes.
I know.
So it just happens.
So is it even stealing at that point?
No, it's not.
It gets weird, right?
It gets weird, but...
Like how music works.
It was back in the day, you couldn't like just pull up fucking... an old comedian's act like at a snap of a finger and look at it.
Yeah.
You just were like, did I hear that joke before? I guess not,
I mean, if like the cadence is the same.
Was one, yeah. But it's just the idea, what jokes can sometimes an entire joke can sometimes hinge on one sort of pivot move in the middle. And if that pivot move is the same...
Yeah. So you would know. You would know like, more than...
Yeah, it's just certain jokes. It's about,
like
a premise anyone can take. Country music is sometimes bad, is a premise anyone can use, right?
Yeah.
But then country music is sometimes country music is so bad. I heard this one song... Take a drunk girl home. Now it's getting like a little more specific.
Yeah.
So a joke I do. There's someone to take a drunk girl home. They're called other drunk girls. All right. Now that's like that's my bit now.
Yeah. At that point, it's yours.
At that point, you've at least made
you boiled it down enough
that
it's yours.
That's your idea.
Okay. I agree with that. Yeah.
But even that is a little bit, if someone else was doing that, I'd be like, well, they could have found that same thing. That's why I try to, this is a rare thing where I'm doing a bit about like a thing, like a public pop culture thing, because that always ends up happening. If you do bits about the news and pop culture, people are always like, you stole or I stole. It's like, dude, we're all just
no one really owns
trying to crack the same puzzle here.
Yeah.
And we're both unoriginal, unfortunately.
Or not unoriginal. But just
that stuff's just cheap candy comedy. I always think Weekend Update is so fun to watch, and it's so funny because it's just like little M&Ms of comedy.
Yeah, it's fast food.
Going to watch John Mulaney for an hour is like a meal, an entree of comedy.
Yeah,
both are good, but everyone loves a snack. Everyone loves a sugary snack.
And one's better suited for TV too.
Oh yeah,
the pop things.
Everything has its place. That's kind of the thing
that's an old man Noonan thing. That's more of a wise take.
Yeah,